So to the French papers, and time now for a look at what's making headlines in them. Katerina VITTOZZI joining us on set, kicking off with reaction to the French president's traditional Bastille Day speech, aren't you?
Yes, it was, and François Hollande, traditionally, as is the case on this French public holiday, met with journalists, and Le Figaro pick up on comments he made about tax. Now, this is the right-leaning paper, as you can imagine, not surprisingly, quite sort of critical of what he said about tax. Now, this headline here, Hollande doesn't rule out a tax rise in 2014. Now, they sort of pick up specifically on comments with regards to his pledge to not raise taxes next year unless it was absolutely sort of unavoidable. But the paper says now, readers sort of beware of what they say, a fiscal fireworks. They say don't let sort of his pretty words detract from the real sort of charge behind what he's saying. According to the paper, tax rises are pretty much guaranteed as of next year, and they say now the tendency they've noticed with this government is that tax rises don't necessarily mean that taxpayers are going to sort of see much of a change in services, not getting sort of much bang for their buck, as you could say. Now, the left-leaning Libération, they sort of take a little different tack from some of what Hollande's speech. They call him Captain Optimistic. They say during Sunday's interview, Hollande really focused on sort of trying to stress the positives in the French economy, and he sort of took on this title as the man that would fight French pessimism. They quote him as saying, "For years, France has been the most pessimistic country in Europe and even in the world." He said, "There are countries at war that are more optimistic than we are." So sort of he's donning cape and a big O on his chest, according to the paper, as Captain Optimistic. However, the paper sort of balances that out with a interview with a leading French economist, Xavier Tambo, who says he's actually quite sceptical about what the president has says these sort of positive leaps forward in terms of the French economy. He says, whether growth is going up 1.0% or down 0.1%, it's unemployment is still a big issue, and that's really going to sort of change optimism in France.
Okay, so that's Captain Optimistic. Sounds like another superhero for you now. Fabulous Fab. What's this?
Yes, well, no, this is the Fabulous Fab was the nickname given to French trader Fabrice Tour. It was actually given to him by himself, so this is how he referred to himself in an email. Now, he was a senior trader at Goldman Sachs, and he's this is a piece in the economic daily Les Echos, because Fabrice Touré is going in front of US financial regulators in a trial in New York today, because he's accused of misleading investors during the 2007 banking crisis when he was a trader at Goldman Sachs, the investment bank. Now, Les Echos call this trial sort of symbolic of the whole banking crisis. It says it crystallizes for many people who feel that bankers and traders rather got off sort of scot-free. People who said this banking crisis was caused by traders. People sort of specifically saying Fabrice Touré was one of many. The paper recounts emails that Touré sent to his girlfriend saying, "There is only one potential survivor in all this crisis. It's me, Fabulous Fab, standing in the middle of these exotic trades without necessarily understanding them." So Touré apparently is going to, according to the paper, deny these charges and say that he was part of sort of a small cog in a big wheel.
Okay, you found a story in Libération now. This is about the success of people power in China.
Yes, people power over nuclear power. This is a lovely little article in Libération. Their Beijing correspondent looks at the result of China's first anti-nuclear march in Heshan in southern China. 2,000 people sort of took to the streets in a spontaneous march against the proposed nuclear facility in the village. And what is probably one of the most record quick capitulations by the governments, the local authorities have said that they are not going to go ahead with the plans. So a victory for people power in China there.
And finally, very quickly, a national happiness index has swung the vote in elections in Bhutan.
Yeah, this is a little piece that the Figaro have picked up on now. Bhutan is this little Himalayan kingdom, and they held parliamentary elections on Sunday. It was only their second ever poll. Now, the opposition party won, and according to the paper, that was because the National Happiness Index, which is a recognised index in Bhutan as a national sort of measure alongside that of gross domestic product, GDP. Apparently, there wasn't enough focus on happiness that was being valued over the economy, so hence why the opposition party stormed to victory. So
we need Captain Optimistic again, don't we? Katerina, thanks very much. Katerina VITTOZZI with the French papers here on France 24.